Good morning. How are you guys doing? I have been sitting around thinking about trends that I have been seeing a lot of and trends that I don't know, I feel like are going to be big. So these are my fashion trend predictions for the year. I was thinking just spring, summer, but I think for the whole year, I think these are going to last. So I've made a whole list here. Let's go through them. So I really want to hear from you guys as well. So if you agree with my predictions, or if you have your own, please let me know down below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. I love this conversation. I think the first one, it's like the elephant in the room. It's all about quiet luxury, right? It's still out there. We're still thinking about it. We're still talking about it. I think people are still aspiring for that look. And I think it's splintering off into two looks, shall we say. One, minimalism, which is basically kind of what it is with a little twist to it, but basically minimalism. I think that is definitely coming back, and minimalism in more of an avant-garde kind of way, and a Mühlmeister or Helmut Lang from like the late 90s, like that kind of minimalism, just real graphic, really hard edged. I think we're kind of moving in that direction. And then the other one, which I think is more of a direct kind of splinter off, is that we're seeing more traditional, kind of leading into preppy type styles. And when I say traditional, now hear me out, I'm going to back it up a little bit. I think when it comes to quiet luxury, it's an interesting thing to aspire to. It's an interesting thing to want to embody, because it really is more of a lifestyle. We've talked about that on this channel. It's a little bit more of a lifestyle, and it really is just whether you like it or not, whether it's your taste. It's sort of a strange idea to want to appear wealthy, but not announce it in the same way. You guys get what I mean. I mean, that's sort of the point of quiet luxury. But I think there comes a point where most people, again, if quiet luxury isn't naturally your taste, or if you just aren't naturally a gazillionaire, it's kind of a strange thing to aspire to. And I think most people want to announce their wealth. It is something we do all the time. It's why we buy nice things. It's why we're attracted to nice things. It's why we're interested in nice things. And I'm not saying everyone, I'm speaking generally, but without the labels and everything, it's really hard to make that announcement. So I think when I say traditional, like, we're still kind of leaning into this, like, well, I want to be like subdued. I don't want to be totally obnoxious, but I still need to announce it in some way. So I think we're going to start to see a lot of the traditional monogram prints come back, like the Louis Vuitton monogram print, the Celine Triomphe coated canvas, the Gucci GG coated canvas. Like, I think we're going to start to see a lot of that. Very clearly a designer product, very clearly identifiable, labeled labeled in a way that's not quite luxury, but it's still, there's still a restraint to it. It's not like screaming from the rooftops label. So I think we're going to see a lot of that kind of traditional monogramming and traditional labeling coming back, which also I think leads us to this preppy thing. And I don't think that's new. I think that has been, obviously it's been around forever, but it's kind of making a resurgence. I don't know if maybe Saltburn had a little something to do with it, the same way Succession had something to do with quiet luxury. But I'm seeing a lot of like polo collars, but more so I'm seeing a lot of like rugbies and that rugby stripe polo collar combination. And I was like, oh my God, it reminds me of the whole Benetton era in the 80s, where everyone had either the green or the blue rugbies. And yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that. And it's this whole kind of like preppy, traditional, we still want to kind of do this quiet luxury thing, but we still want people to know we're wealthy. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that. And the minimalism, I was starting to say, I think that is really just kind of the look of quiet luxury. I think people really like that simple look. And the whole quiet luxury, feel and look was all about like the material and things. It was more about being understated versus like this like minimal look. And I think the minimal look is what is going to prevail from the whole quiet luxury thing. So anyway, that's that on quiet luxury. I think it's just sort of being redefined. I think the big colors or the basic colors, now this always kind of shifts, right? Black is always in, But I feel like it goes from the cooler tones to the warmer tones. And I think we're moving back into the warmer tones. We're seeing a lot more browns, a lot more chocolate browns, a lot more camels, burnt caramels, latte colors. Like those kind of colors I think are going to be really, really strong. I think we're going to see a lot more like chocolate brown versus like charcoal gray. A lot of chocolate browns in my mind means a lot more navy. And not to say these colors, of course, have been around forever. You know, it's like the staples, black, chocolate brown, navy, grays. But I think there's always like a lean, what is a little bit more in vogue and what isn't. And I think it's the chocolate brown, navy era. I think we're gonna see a lot of that for this fall, especially a lot of chocolate brown. We've started to see it this past fall, this past winter, but I think people are really gonna embrace it for this fall, winter. So stay tuned for that. And I'm seeing this trend, which, you know, I need to point out because I love this trend, and it's the oversized pants trend. I love it. Now, as you guys know, I'm 50. So my fashion sense was really developed in like the 90s. And I remember when TLC hit the scene and they wore like just really huge pants, huge pants. And I remember running out and getting a pair of size 50 Levi's, that's the waist size. And they were chocolate brown Levi's in size 50. And I had to get a belt and cinch it all the way up, but they were huge. I mean, they looked like you could have fit 3 of me in these jeans. But I love them, and I love that look. And not to say I think we've gone that extreme, but just the baggy, oversized, kind of like taking that paper bag trouser style, like a little bit to the next level. I think we're seeing a lot of barrel leg pants. That's, you know, when they kind of arch out. That's an interesting trend to me. But oversized pants, I think, are going to be really, really huge. And in turn, I think belts are going to be really, really huge. Because one, you need something to hold them up. I think people are going to be wearing them in very interesting ways. I don't think we're just going to be getting wide leg pants in our size. I think we're going to be getting actual oversized pants and cinching them in. So I think belts are going to be really, really big. And I think belts are going to be big also because I was thinking about top silhouettes that work with really oversized pants. And I think like crop tops will look really good, like baggy kind of oversized crop tops, really boxy ones that stop right at the top of the pant. I think that'll be really nice. Or, you know, blouses when you want to tuck them in. But in any case, you're going to need something there to kind of break things up. So anyway, I think belts are going to be really big along with oversized pants. And this is an interesting one. Hold on one second. Actually, I have to get something as a prop here. Okay, so this next trend, I'm just calling it. I have no idea. I have been seeing a little bit more of it in store, but I got these sunglasses when I went to Florence last year. These are, I believe, men's sunglasses. And I don't know. I was in Florence. I really love them, but I don't usually get like a tinted lens, like a light tint with a color to it, like yellow, pinks, blues, things like that. I usually steer clear from those. One, because I don't think they're actually very useful in terms of blocking sunlight out. And two, I don't know, there's something about sunglasses where I don't like to see the person's eyes, not that clearly. So I do like a darker lens. However, these just really caught my eye. I mean, I like the shape. And when I put them on, I was like, you know what? It doesn't bother me that much. There's something about the yellow lens that was actually very soothing. And these are actually really great in bright light. Anyway, I digress. I was flipping through Instagram. This must have been 3 months ago. And Ashley Olsen had on a pair, not these sunglasses, but had on a pair of sunglasses with yellow tinted lenses. And she was like indoors at like a gallery or something. And it was just like a candid shot of her and her sister, Mary Kate. And she had on tinted lenses. And I was like, are these going to be a thing? And then I was just in Gucci and I was looking at their sunglasses. I mean, Gucci always has kind of like funky things, you know, not necessarily on trend. But they had a lot of like tinted pinks and blues and yellows, gradiated, you know, all kinds of like kind of funky lenses. And I was like, I wonder if this is going to be a thing. And then I went to Saint Laurent and they had a whole wall of sunglasses. And I love their sunglasses. They tend to be very like minimal. They're like very like bitchy looking sunglasses. They're so cool. But they had a bunch with just this like light tinting. And I was like, you know what? I'm calling it. This is going to be, I think, a sunglasses trend for 2024. I think we're going to be seeing this summer, we're going to be seeing a lot of lighter tinted sunglasses. So I'm really glad I picked these up last year. I just think these are so cool. They have crystals on top and on the sides, and they're super comfortable. If you have a wide face like mine, these are great. Anyway, so I think these are going to be the sunglasses trend for this year. Okay, let's talk about handbags. So Louis Vuitton Speedy has made a splash thanks to Pharrell. And I think that little duffel shape is going to be huge. I think we're just going to start seeing it everywhere. It's starting to look less dowdy. I think it was looking a little dowdy. I think the last time the Speedy was really hot was when they did that collaboration with Steven Sprouse. And in fact, I actually have one of those Speedies. I should whip that out. So Steven Sprouse did that kind of graffiti look on the Louis Vuitton, the coated canvas. And the Speedy was just like, I don't know, I thought it was a standout piece. He had some suitcases or whatever, but I thought the Speedy was really the standout piece. And I think Pharrell has brought it back. I think the Speedy itself is going to be really, really popular with all of his like pop damier colors, with that new like very supple calfskin version. Of course, he has exotics in it. I just think it's going to be a huge shape. And I started to see that shape pop out because most of these brands have that shape. They just haven't been promoting it. But some brand, now I can't remember, maybe it was Celine. Maybe I just saw like a posting on Instagram of like one of their little duffels with their coated canvas. And I was like, here it comes. We're going to start to see a lot of this like little duffel bag thanks to the Speedy. And I think we're going to start to see a lot of different shapes, not quite as funky, or I don't know about funky, but not quite as purely, aesthetic versus functional as like the heart bags or the star bag that Chanel came out with. But I think we're going to continue on this trend of like different shaped bags. And again, I don't know, this is probably me, me kind of projecting, but I got that Celine cylindrical bag. And I'm like, I feel like cylinder bags are going to be good. And in Pharrell's first collection for Louis Vuitton, they have like a pop damier. I think it's just in the blue color, a cylinder bag. I was very tempted to get it. I'm still tempted to get it. A cylinder bag. It's a little bit bigger than my cylinder bag. And then they also have like the diamond shape. So I think we're going to start to see more unusual shapes. Nothing, no like breaking news, like new shape or whatever, but ones that just are a little bit different. I think the cylinder bag, I remember it being really, really big, like in the 80s. There was a bunch of, so that they were shorter and like chubbier. They almost looked like hand warmer or like bolster pillows, like that. And then in time, they kind of got a little bit like longer, a little bit flatter or whatever. And I have a few. I have like a little Prada one that's great for like a makeup bag. I've got that bracelet Loewe one. So I really love cylinder bags because if you've never used one, definitely check one out in store because they fit so much more than you think they do. There's something about that shape. But anyway, I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think we're going to see, just start to see like nothing too crazy. Like I think we're kind of moving away from the hearts and the stars because they're too not functional, I think. Like the star bag, what can you fit in there? Absolutely nothing. Like you could stick a lipstick in each little leg. But yeah, those are too impractical, but I think we're gonna see some creative shapes that are more practical. And then in terms of shoes, I think overall, of course, we're still gonna always love our stilettos and our knee-high boots with like crazy heels. But I do think in general, we're just gonna see more comfortable shoes. I think we're gonna see real chunky sneakers. I think we're going to see kitten heels. I think we're going to see flats, a lot of mules, like slide-in shoes with very low heels. I really think that is the vibe that's going on. The ballerina, huge. I mean, I think when Alaya came out with that Japanese-style ballerina, I mean, I think we still can't get them, right? They're still sold out everywhere. Miu Miu had those great like satin ones that really look like ballet slippers. Who else? Margiela. Like everyone has come back with some ballerina flat. So I do think that's where we're moving. However, I don't think a petite small shoe like that looks really great with baggy pants. So I do think we're going to have some like chunky sneakers and things like that. the chunky loafer. I think that's kind of here to stay. So I think that 90s influence, we're really going to see that in shoes. It's a very like mid to late 90s, like kind of grunge look. So I think we're going to see a lot of those kinds of shoes, just like really wearable, everyday shoes, just nothing sky high and killer. And if you really like comfortable shoes, like myself, I would take the opportunity to get some because, as you know, fashion is pretty cyclical. So next year, the year after, we're probably going to see like sky high heels. So get them now. And then this was something that I started noticing as well, lifestyle pieces. And I think what companies are trying to do, because as we've all read and seen, the luxury market is, the sales are down. And it's not down because the very wealthy people aren't shopping. That's not the case. What's down is the aspirational shoppers are not buying that one Louis Vuitton bag for their birthday. The aspirational shoppers, the person that treats themselves to a designer bag, to a designer good, on special occasions, or they ask for it for holidays or whatever. It's like their special thing. It's like where they want to spend their money. And so that shopper isn't really shopping for whatever reason. I think they're actually spending it on other things like travel or whatever. But the aspirational shopping is down, and that's really affected, of course, these houses. So I think what they're really starting to push now are these lifestyle pieces because they can be priced even a little bit lower, and you still get those people who are aspiring, right? Aspiring to appear wealthy. And lifestyle pieces, I mean, like, what have I seen? Just little accessories, shall we say? And I don't mean SLGs. Oh, I was just in Prada, and like a little like triangle earring that says Prada on there, right? Ooh, Prada, name brand designer. But it was like, not to sneeze at $500, but it was like $500. But that's a lot cheaper than a handbag. A Prada headband, a Prada scrunchie, a Celine, oh my God, Celine has all this stuff, notebooks. They have like the coated canvas thing where you can put your candle into, like just all these like little accents that you can get. They have a comb and a comb holder, playing cards. Hermes has playing cards, I know. They have like a backgammon set. Like all of these little lifestyle pieces, I think are going to be, I don't know if they're going to be purchased because I don't know if people actually want to spend their money there, but I think we're going to see it pushed quite a bit because they're less expensive than SLGs, much less expensive than purses. And I think companies are really trying to get the aspirational shopper back into store. And they're just sort of dangling these little carrots in front of them. These things are like around 500, give or take a couple $100. And that is a lot easier to stomach than, a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 handbag. So I think we're going to see a lot of lifestyle pieces. Like, who's just showing a surfboard? Yeah, that's not inexpensive though, but yeah, some brand had a surfboard, trays, where you can come in, where you can like put your candles on something. So just like a little something. Yeah, just these like little home goods. I think we're going to start to see a lot more of those. And then I think this may be petering off a little bit. We'll see if it pops back up for this fall, winter. But textures. Again, I think this is because we were moving away from the really loud luxury pieces and, this whole quiet luxury thing, right? We were talking about it. People were trying to embody that. And I think companies were really embracing it. But they were trying to figure out, again, almost like that monogram thing. It's like, well, how can our shoppers still exude wealth to those that may not know something quite as quiet as like Loro Piana or Brunello Cucinelli, all the real quiet luxury brands. And so I think that they were really playing with different fabrics and different textures to exude wealth without having the logos everywhere. So a lot of leathers. I think we saw a lot of leathers. I think we're going to continue to see them, maybe really thin, buttery ones for spring, summer. Shearlings, that Max Mara, the teddy coat. I mean, that's been around forever, but I think it really hit its stride over the past couple of years. I think because, it's this big furry coat. It's so luxurious looking. You just look at that and you just know. You may not know that it's Max Mara, but you know that that's like an expensive looking coat. Shearlings, I think, were really big, may continue to be big. We're seeing the shearlings not just in shearling coats, but shearling handbags, nubby tweeds. So yeah, just a lot of interesting fabrics, a lot of touches to fabrics, maybe some trims like shearling trims and stuff, like a nylon coat with like leather sleeves. Just again, just a way for these companies to create products that their customer doesn't necessarily find, too loud or too gauche, but still exudes wealth in a way. I think they're really trying to figure that out in the wake of this whole like quiet luxury thing. But I think really rich, luxurious materials are going to be big, especially for fall. It's kind of hard to do that for spring, summer, but I do think you're going to see a lot of like really buttery, thin, paper thin, buttery leathers. I think we're going to see a lot of that. So anyway, those are my fashion trend predictions for 2024. Again, let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what some of your predictions are. I would love to hear from you. And that's it. But I'll see you guys in my next vlog. Bye.